What is up, Knights of Vex? The Grand Arena season is here. Let's get some hype in the chat. We are in for a very fun season. Brand new Datacron set, some really absolute banger level 9s. I could not be any more hyped. And speaking of hype, Knicks in 5. We won a championship. About time. Super stoked to be a New York fan right now. The Knicks got it done in epic fashion. So, big shout out to the Knicks. Brunson, you're a freaking beast. Let's get some hype going. With that said, though, we have a Grand Arena season to talk about, and we need to discuss the best 5v5 teams for the up-and-coming season. If you guys are new here, I break it up into 3 separate categories. The best defensive teams, offensive teams, and a third category called Flex, for teams that are viable on both offense and defense, depending on your strategy. Now, forewarning, you're going to see a bunch of squads repeated. I'm going to start doing this more often because it is a long season. We have 3 weeks of Grand Arena. You're going to keep saying the same thing over and over and over. You need to change up your strategy. Otherwise, you're going to be predictable. If people are scouting, they're going to see your defense. You have to make changes to your defense. So you're going to see multiple different variations of squads with different types of teams, members, and Datacron combinations that I will talk about. So with that said, I want to get that out of the way before anyone asks. There's multiple types of squads repeated. It's for a certain reason. We got to change it up a bit. It's a long season and a lot of fun, different characters and Datacrons to play around with. So we're going to get right into the list, starting with defense. But before I do, last time I did this, I had a question for you guys regarding coffee and what type of person you are. I'm going to start doing this for every single type of video. The question for you guys for this particular one to have some fun is, when you guys were younger and you had a original Xbox or PlayStation, if you guys did have one, I want to know what your favorite game was on the OG Xbox or the OG PlayStation. Always curious about it. For me, I got the Xbox when I was a little kid. My first game ever was Spider-Man. My favorite Xbox game of all time is going to be KOTOR 1, Knights of the Old Republic, without a doubt. But just going down a little bit of a nostalgia road, I want to know your favorite OG game of that gaming system. So let me know down below in the comment section. I think that'd be a really fun discussion to get into. But with that out of the way, let's get into some Grand Arena and the best 5v5 defensive teams. So let's get to it. Now, starting out my list, going to be very interesting. Leia. Leia is going to be a very good defensive Galactic Legend this season, specifically because of Drogon's level 9, the Rebels level 6, and with this deadly combination, this actually ended up being better than Toxic Leia, which I recommended last season. It's going to be with Stormtrooper Luke and Old Ben. This squad, no joke, got me a ton of holds last season. It stopped Inquisitors a good majority of the time. It's not unbeatable, but Leia does have a use on defense this season. You're going to see her repeated in offense with a different type of squad, but if you're going to set Leia on defense this season, this would be the team to do it. With the Drogon 9, the Rebel Riposte 6, or the Critovoid, with the Bulk level 3, the 15% max of the protection, and you got really good stats along with defense. Very challenging team, not a cakewalk for Inquisitors. Will require something heavier, possibly a Kylo or something along those lines. There's no longer Wampa on the field to cause issues, so Leia definitely going to be a strong defensive squad with this particular comp. So I do want to include it on this list. They are mentioned first. Now, moving into a pair combination, I'm going to show 2 different variations of Stranger. I think it's important for the season because there's so many different things you can do. The first one that I'm recommending for every single person that has this team available with the Luminara Focus Datacron, set your Stranger with Luminara and her Focus Datacron. This will cause massive issues for Satele, who's attacking out of turn. That's her whole shtick. When she's given the attacks out of turn, they're going to be applied Protection Disruption. Through my testing, that's going to mitigate Satele's damage. By that time, you might be screwed. Starkiller gets the ultimate, they get into their whole shtick, you might run into some trouble. So I do think the Protection Disruption from the level 9 is going to be insane. Not only that, the stats alone on the Datacron are nuts. 100% offense and 100% critical damage, I believe, with tenacity and some potency. So, overall, Very good stats for a defensive squad. This team is very tough. Just because Satele has a Datacron in the set doesn't mean they're going to walk over Stranger. The Luminarchon will cause issues. Now, not going to say this team is going to be practically unbeatable on defense, but they're going to be very, very strong. Now, with that out of the way, if you want to use Luminara for a different squad, because there's many different combinations of Luminara this season, you could throw in a regular Stranger squad, but I would recommend your Jedi being General Skywalker. The reason being is because whenever General Skywalker lands a critical hit, he's going to be increasing the cooldowns of the enemy team. That could mess up some counters. When I was running Satele last season against Stranger, Gas was increasing my cooldowns. I could not get to my mass swarms. He kept increasing them throughout the battle. It wasn't an easy time. So, my two Stranger comps that I'm going to be working with are these two in particular. I wanted to showcase both of them. They're very, very strong. And also, when an enemy attacks out of turn with General Skywalker on the field, they cannot crit you. So that's something to also consider. Very strong squad. One of the best squads in this game. The best non-GL squad by far. And they're going to do big things this season. Just guarantee it. Next up, we have Lord Vader. And I know you guys are thinking he's Lord Failure, but he still requires a very strong team on defense, especially with all the higher relics that we're seeing. He has a very strong level 3, the Dark Side Max Health Debuff Damage 3. You don't realize what that does to certain squads. I've been playing around with it in Squad Arena against, using different types of tests. It melts you. Absolutely melts you. So, when Lord Vader gets into Ultimate, his passive is applying dots, and then he can do his big AoE. You're practically going to get, absolutely destroyed. So, he's not unbeatable. No team on the defensive squad is unbeatable, but we're trying to cause issues for your opponent. Lord Vader is the type of team that cause issues. The Dark Side Max Health Damage 3 is going to cause issues, as well as possibly a Sith Damage Immunity or bonus turn level 6. So, Lord Vader still doing big things on defense this season. We're now moving into an example of what I was talking about before with many different combinations for a squad. I know Ezra was nerfed. We think Rey's going to be bad, but CG is being CG and keep releasing Datacrons and characters to fit into Rey. So we're going to talk about it all here. 3 different pairs of Rey that I'm recommending for the season. The first one being Sortie with her level 9, one of the most broken Datacrons of the new set. She's dealing 25% damage per relic amplifier on her team, I believe. Something along those lines. She has one-shot nuke potential. That is going to be a very tough squad to beat if you don't control Sortie. Now, when you're trying to control the team, you also cannot ignore Ben Solo. I recently took him up to Relic 10 and have adjusted his mods to increase his critical chance, because if he hits you under protection with a crit, you're more than likely going bye-bye. So, this is what I mean. I know a lot of players are thinking it's going to get easily beaten. It probably will by certain squads. But if you do not control Ben Solo and Sortie, you're going to be in for a really rough time. And you're going to get some holds with this team. Control Sortie, control Ben Solo, and you're going to be fine. If you can't control them, you're going to be going goodnight, Irene. So, that's the first variation. The second one is going to be Luminara with her Focus Datacron. Very plug and play for many different squads. The Protection Disruption is very nice. Can cause issues for Queen Amidala as well as a Malagos team because they're constantly assisting. And that's going to hurt them with Protection Disruption. I love Cal and General Kenobi in here because of the protection up and the extra health gains, as well as Kenobi being a very solid tank that's providing critical hit immunity, which means Rey can't get crit, which means her Inspire is going to go off the charts. So that's why I like that combination pair. We're leaving Barriss in for potentially other squads, but Barriss could work also with Stranger or anywhere else. But for this season, I think Luminara is going to be a great option. And the sleeper pick, I think this will be a very sleeper pick for Rey. Zalbar, General Kenobi, and Cal. Specifically with the Zalbar level 9, which is granting insane benefits to tanks. They are going to start with Taunt. They're immune to buff immunity and stun. So you're going to be forced to gun down Zalbar and General Kenobi on a Rey squad. This is also going to be a very strong variation that you cannot take lightly. You got to deal with the tanks. And they can't get stunned, and you're not going to be able to apply buff immunity. So you're stuck on that tank till the end of battle. So, get ready for Rey to be another powerhouse of a defensive squad this season. Now, next up, got to quickly talk about this. Not much to say about Ahsoka Ezra now because CG only made that exclusive to one single pair. But Ahsoka Ezra, that's the locked-in team. It's all about the Datacron. Me personally, more than likely going with the Dedra focused Datacron because of all the defensive stats that go along with it. It makes them an absolute pain in the butt. You're not going to be able to crit them and get the one-shot with Drogon most of the time. If you have a high relic Ahsoka and Ezra, will only cause issues for you. Can still be taken out by Grey Mothers, so you have to keep in mind the speed check of Ezra, as well as the crit to non-crit ratio between Ezra and Spirit. Got to keep that in mind. Still a very strong squad, but obviously be very careful when you go against it. Always a very good defensive staple of a team. Now, another repeat character, because Baylan is definitely different this season without his focused Datacron, but we do have a Zalbar level 9, which is going to benefit tanks. Tank being Baylan. No stun, no buff immunity. Same thing with Zalbar. He's going to have a damage reduction level 6. This can do very big things, and I'm really interested to see if Baylan can have any defensive viability with the Zalbar level 9. If you guys are planning to use OG Hondo with some other team like Pirate King Hondo or Maz, you can slot in Kira. I think Kira is a very good 5th member of the squad because of her health steal unique synergies with Baylan. So if you don't want to put OG Hondo with Baylan, do not worry, replace it with Kira. I just have to recommend OG Hondo because he's by far the strongest 5th for the team with his captive Omicron, but that could be very strong on defense. Now, this might be the last time you see Zalbar because he's so freaking plug and play. This team, I am recommending for Satele possibly. You're going to see here repeated on offense. I faced this team on defense last 5v5 season, and my Great Mothers got destroyed. I doomed Satele, but I could not get past Zalbar. This could cause issues for a number of different teams. Now, I'm going to recommend the Bastila Datacron still. Definitely the Bastila Datacron. If you don't have the Bastila one, the Zalbar one is probably going to be sleeper strong with this one. Practically, she's going to have taunt, immune to buff immunity, immune to stun. They're already immune to stun anyway, but it's very powerful, especially with the damage reduction level 6. Not going to stop Sith Eternal. No variation of Satele will stop Sith Eternal, but it could possibly stop Great Mothers. So, really risky. Might not want to do it every single match, but I think if you set this variation of Satele on defense with Zalbar, you might get some secret overpowered holds. So, keep that team in mind. Next up, we got to talk about Cassian Andor Undercover. And I know he seems a little disappointing. In 5v5, he's going to be a lot tougher. Now, when I did go against it last season, we had some crazy whales that I went against. They did have the focus Datacron. Queen Amidala got it done. Now, it's a very strong team. You got to be careful. You might want to use your Queen Amidala for something else. In 3v3, I was facing a Baze variation where you could practically get nuked if you remove buffs or gain too much Terminator with Baze on the squad. So if you have to replace anyone, I'd probably replace Vel and keep Cinta, or vice versa. One of those two would go. So if you don't have those other two characters up in high relics, maybe slot in Baze Malbish, because there is a certain thing in his kit with Terminator gains and buff removals where you're going to end up killing yourself with the focus Datacron attached. So no matter what variation you put down, it's going to be strong. But Cassian Undercover with his focus Datacron is a defensive viable team, no matter what relic level he's at. Next up, we still have the Inquisitors with their Datacron meta, so I'm recommending 3rd Sister, Grand Inquisitor, 8th Brother, 7th Sister, and Inquisitor Barriss as the defensive squad. Very powerful, I have to admit. I got practically a lot of it wrong when Inquisitor Barriss was first released. I thought she was going to make the team weaker because of anti-revive with Reva. She actually makes them a powerhouse of a defensive team. So if you're going to use Inquisitors on defense, this would be the squad to do it. If you don't use them on defense, very good at taking out legends like Galactic Legends like Leia. But regardless, that's a very strong defensive team, and I don't even think that Phoenix might have an even good time against it. They could possibly time out or just have issues if you don't land the days. So Reva, very, very strong. How can we not talk about Darth Vader's Duel's End? That is absolutely an insane team, causing major, major issues. He gets a bonus turn and is going to fracture your whole squad. This was a nightmare in 3v3. I could picture it being even more of a nightmare in 5v5. The fourth and fifth I'm recommending is Tarkin and Royal Guard. Royal Guard being your tank. Grand Moff Tarkin applying a bunch of debuffs to the team and giving you that tactical supremacy, I believe. And he can remove Turn Meter. So, all very good variations. There are certain ones I've seen with double tank. So, if you throw in possibly like Scorch or something like that, and you don't run a full Lord Vader lineup, could cause issues, or even Shore Trooper as your second. It all depends on the matchup you're trying to stop. I think Tarkin is mostly accessible to the community, so I'm recommending Tarkin here. Very, very strong. There's one team that I forgot to get rid of, so I'm going to do it really quick. I'm going to go over here. So we're going to go back down. There was one squad I forgot to take out. But moving on to the next one, we have Queen Amidala with Mace Windu level 9. I think if you pair this with General Skywalker with that Wordy Galactic Republic 6, very, very dangerous. I got the brunt of Master Qui-Gon's power in 3v3. I will not underestimate him in 5v5. Even if you get rid of Padawan Obi-Wan, you still have to deal with 3 other raid boss characters. General Skywalker with 501st is still a solid squad, but he's so versatile with where you can put him with different squads. I like him with Queen on defense. Pair it with the Mace level 9. You could potentially be giving Bane some issues. It's all about if Bane can get the opening one-shot kill on the team, or if on a second, once his ally dies, if he can get a massive whirlwind and kill your entire team. If you don't, Mace's level 9 will cause issues with that Shatter Point. I guarantee it. So, Queen Amidala, as much as I love her on offense, you're going to see her repeated on this list, but that's the defensive squad that I would recommend for her. Now, a new faction that we haven't really got to play with often or much, at least I haven't, the ISB. They're going to be defensive viable if you throw in the Dedra-focused Datacron. I have seen some crazy stuff in 3v3 with high relic ISB like KX at relic 9 or relic 10. I face it. It's not a fun time. I am more than likely going to use JML against it, but it's a team you simply cannot take lightly. They're going to have a Death Trooper spawned because of Krennic's Zeta or Unique or something like that. Imperial Probe Droid is now in the meta, so I am very curious to see where they're going to fit in this whole aspect and scheme, but if you have them up and running at higher relic levels and gear, you're going to be in really good shape with that FDC. Looking forward to their defensive viability. Now, this one is going to be an interesting one, but let me cook for a little bit. Ufus. Ufus on defense. It's a possibility. It's a long season. You can use them on offense, absolutely, but when you pair the Ufus with the new Asajj Ventress level 9, she's gaining 100% turn meter with a bonus turn dealing... She's getting a bonus turn and dealing 100% more damage is what I meant to say. And Malicos is going to be assisting every single time your ally takes a turn and does an ability. So Malicos has the potential to ramp up his Edge of Madness and get some really big assists going. This could cause issues for maybe a Malgus squad or a number of different other counters. It's simply a team that cannot be taken lightly. With Asajj's level 9 into the mix, it's going to be a powerhouse and something you can't just walk over easily. You have to take your time, pick the right counter, because there are 3 major threats to the team. Technically 4. You have Seer with her one-shot, Malicos with his rocks, Maul with his crazy Anguish ability, and Asajj with her 100% bonus damage. So, you gotta pick the right counter and be very careful. That's a good defensive squad. And now, this one's going to be a little bit of a Hail Mary, trying to just not get holds, but steal banners, because with Grand Arena and how it's been recently, it's all about getting the most amount of banners, and with cheesers around, it's tough. So, I'm recommending Grievous with BB-8, IG-100, B1, and Droideka with the Wordy Separatist level 6, and possibly the Droideka or Grievous level 9. The whole point is to steal banners from your opponent. BB-8 is going to be giving this team a ton of turn meter. Maybe they get a turn meter train with that level 6 with all that target lock. That's practically the goal. Now, the only reason why I didn't include B2 here was because I have B2 with Aphra. But if you don't have any use and means for Aphra, I would possibly swap out your IG-100 or your Droideka with B2. Even though Droideka's level 9 is needed, maybe swap out IG-100. BB-8 is necessary because of the turn meter gain. But the whole point about this team is to drop banners, not get you a hold. It's to get your opponent to win with a 60 or 61, not a 65. So that's why I wanted to include it on this list. Got to give Grievous some love with the Separatists with the Wordy level 6. So I know that covered a lot. I had a lot to say, but I think it's important because I have a lot of points to get across with these teams. That's going to conclude the best defensive squad list. We're now moving on to offense. Moving on to the offensive list, we got to talk about Satele Shan with her Datacron. The regular lineup with all Old Republic Jedi is going to be optimal for offense. You're going to be able to take out a number of different squads. Lord Vader, Stranger, Jabba, you name it. It's an absolute powerhouse on offense. I thought it would be fun to include it on defense for one variation to see if she can get some holds, but this is by far the best lineup of Satele for offense. It's going to take out a number of different squads and with high banners, so I'm really looking forward to that. Now, next up, gotta mention Kenobi. If you guys are using Mace and General Kenobi with another squad, you can probably throw in like Plo Koon or something like that, but a regular Kenobi squad is always going to be viable for taking out a number of different squads. Very powerful at taking out Jabba, taking out Ufus. Just really, really good squad. Not very powerful on defense because they're countered by Inquisitors and Baylan very often, but offense, always high banner recovery and solid as it comes. So General Kenobi, always going to be used. Next up, we have Leia. Now, this variation of Leia is specifically the offensive use because of the Raddus and Jyn cheese, specifically against Ahsoka Tano with Ezra. If you just put the smoke screen and stealth everyone and just get Jyn available, she cannot die unless Raddus is defeated. So it's an ultimate cheese comp, the perfect one for offense. Leia is good at banner recovery, good at cheesing. She's a very good squad. But if you want to make it a little bit tougher for your opponent and you put her on defense like the other squad I recommended, giving you different variations. But no matter what, you guys know the deal. We've seen this time and time again. Leia is a very good offensive Galactic Legend. Which leads into the permanent offensive Galactic Legend mark, Jedi Master Luke. This guy desperately needs a lifter unit. It's really, really sad. But what you're going to do is you're going to do Luke, Hermit Yoda, Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, and Grandmaster Yoda, because Revan is now going to Satele. You have to fill in the void, and I'm recommending Grandmaster Yoda because of the AoE tenacity up, the foresight, the spreading of the buffs. It could be helpful in some matchups. Definitely not as strong as he was without Revan. Really needs a lifter unit. I cannot stress that enough, but he could take out a number of different squads, like Bad Batch. He could take out, trying to think off the top of my head of things I would think my go-to would be for JML, but you guys know what I'm trying to say. He's not good on defense, and you might not even use him this season, to be honest with you. But if you do, he has good banner recovery with Hermit Yoda. Now, Bad Batch. Was just talking about this earlier on Plotting and Scheming. A team I have neglected for too long. Really looking forward to using them this season. I'm going to try to make them my go-to Darth Vader duels end counter. It did work in 3v3. If I can get it to work in 5v5, I'd be a very happy Vex. Recently took up my record of Relic 9 because I've been hearing nothing but good things about him being one of the best tanks in this game. So his stock is rising. I brought him up to Relic 9. We do have a Bulkron. We do have defense. So I'm hoping Bad Batch can do big things for me on offense this season. On defense, not as much. This is going to be a combination pair, and don't even have to talk about this that long. Bane, offense, offense, offense. He's a practical Galactic Legend on his own. I took him up to Relic 10 because of how powerful he is, and the extra Relic level might be helpful for certain matchups like Lord Vader with CX2, because CX2 with that crazy evasion and how annoying he is might be helpful for the matchups. I like putting in Dooku in there because of the stun. He's got a level 9 that might pair in well with Bane. It's very nice. And if you want to go super overkill, which honestly in this small map meta, combine it with Sith Eternal, and you're going to get a 68 banner win, which is more than likely what you need for high efficiency to make you get across that hurdle against those really tight matchups. So, very solid. Next up, Malgus. Practically permanently on offense now because of the release of Maz Kanata, but that doesn't mean he's bad. He's one of my favorite characters and squads in this game. I just said this in my Conquest ranking video. He's the king of taking out the tier behind or minus S. Not the Galactic Legends, but everything under that, he is super, super solid. For the most part, he could take out a lot of them. Not all of them, but a lot of them. He's got good banner recovery with Darth Revan. We do have a Sith Kron level 6, which is very helpful. Wouldn't recommend using the Darth Revan level 9. I don't think it's going to be as worth it. I think that's more of a stack Kron for some other teams. But on offense, very powerful, and I would always use them. Which leads to the next one, Bo-Katan. Love Bo-Katan. I have the team modded correctly for the Lord Vader counter. If you haven't checked out my video about that, I highly recommend you do. It's on my channel. How to counter Lord Vader with Bo. Very solid. Hoping it works this season, even though the Sith Kron is available, and the Dark Side Max Health level 3 is there. Could cause some issues for Bo. I am going to try it every now and then to see if it can work, but good banner recovery, very good at taking out Galactic Legends, and they also beat Kenobi. I forgot to mention that before too, about Kenobi on defense. Now, next up, CLS. No matter what, as long as this game progresses, I'm always going to include CLS on the list because CLS is very good. He can take out squads that you wouldn't even realize he could. Bonus turn stun from Han. Crazy turn meter manipulation with CLS and his unique. He can gain crazy turn meter. They do have a Rebel level 6. It could be very, very strong. So don't ever count out CLS. He's always going to be a strong team. Can take out General Skywalker. And yeah, we got to see how he performs this meta, but he's always going to be on offense now. He's taken out a little bit too easily on defense. Now, I do include them all the time. I will include Phoenix with Geonosian Brood Alpha because this variation can take out certain Inquisitor squads with Reva. Just got to be cautious of the RNG with landing days on Seventh Sister. That could cause some issues for you, but I have to include it on the list. This is specifically for taking out Inquisitors. If everything goes right, it's a full 65 banner win, and that value is crazy, coming from a very base level marquee team, taking out a very hard grind TB character, so gotta include it. Offense. IG90 with Aphra. I'm a big fan of IG90, one of the best characters released with that era, and super exciting. I brought IG90 to Relic 9 for the event, but paired in with B2, BT1, and 000, you're going to be doing some really big things. The goal is for them to still be able to beat Jabba without the IG90 FDC. I was able to do it really easy that season. I'm hoping it's just as easy this season. So we're going to have to figure out the crons to do it, but always going to be an offensive type of team. That leaves Traya. Same concept with Malgus, with not putting him on defense because of Maz Kanata. They can help you take out Gungans. They're very, very powerful. Still, till this day, Traya has been in the game for a very long time. Still used in Kyber 1 today. Very powerful squad. Good banner recovery if they hit Savage. Just super important. They could take out so many powerful squads. Even Traya. Even Reva. She could take out Reva. You got to be careful, though, without Nihilus's FDC. But always going to be an offensive team for now because of Maz Kanata. Now, last one I'm going to include is specifically a Pirate King Hado counter using the Ufus, Seer Malicos Maul crew, and you got to throw in Cal Kestis. A little bit too difficult without Cal. That protection up is really, really helpful. He's giving your team max health. So if you are going to use Ufus against Pirate King Hado, which is now back on the table without the Vayne, this is going to be the variation that you want to go for. So that was going to be a quick recap of the offensive list. We're now going to go into the final one, which is my favorite, the flex. Okay, here we go, the final category, and starting with one of my favorite teams in the game right now that I'm having the most fun with in Squad Arena, Jango Fett with his Datacron with Asajj, Greef, 4-LOM, and Mando. And the reason why I'm including these variations instead of the one in my video is specifically because of Asajj's Omicron. She's giving 100% turn meter to allies with Disciple, and they're all going to start with Disciple with her Omicron. She doesn't provide it to tanks, so that's why I'm not including Zuckuss. But 4-LOM is one of the best bounty hunters in this game. He has a mass swarm. He's got crazy synergy with the Corrupted Translation. The reason Greef is in here is because the mass swarm will help Mando get his critical chance up, which means he's going to be instant killing people. This team has so many different functions and variations that you can run with all different kinds of bounty hunters. This specifically is the one that I'm recommending because of the 100% turn meter gain, the assisting from Greef, who does crazy things for bounty hunters, the insta-kill from Mando, and the 4-LOM crazy mass swarm and synergies with the Corrupted Translation. Jango is an absolute beast. Asajj is a beast. This team is so much fun. On defense and offense, going to be doing crazy, crazy things. You better go in with a team that can control turn meter or be anti-turn meter because you're 100% going to get steamrolled. This is a mini turn meter loop team if they put the Disciple on, or if Mando gets cooking with his mass assist and his crazy crits. I'm telling you, do not take this team lightly. So much fun. Now, gonna start getting into the GL category and range. Pirate King Hado is a flex character now. Not 100% on defense anymore because Vayne is gone. His counters are now opening up, but that doesn't mean he's bad. Just because a Galactic Legend can get countered doesn't mean they're bad on offense or defense. So, will have defensive viability, more so with OG Hondo in the lineup than anyone else. But if you want to use OG Hondo for some other team, put in SM33 as a good variation and swap out. But no matter what you do with Hondo, can help you take out Lord Vader on offense, will cause issues for your opponent on defense and having them second guess on what to use. And if they don't bring in the right counter, it could bite them in the end. So Hondo, going to be viable on both offense and defense. Very flexible. Which leaves to the next Galactic Legend, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. Very, very good on offense. Great banner recovery with Darkseid Rey. Can take out Ahsoka Ezra. Can take out Jabba. Can take out Leia. What can this guy not take out? He is so powerful. He's also a sleeper trap card on defense. I put him on the back wall in 3v3, and it won me 2 matchups in a row. Because they don't expect him in the back. He's got 2 hard counters. Jedi Master Kenobi and Bane. If you could somehow get those characters to work on the front wall and hide them in the back, they're going to have to do some tricky matchups like JML or something like that. So, SOKR, very, very good on offense, but will get you holds on defense. Which moves Jabba. Jabba is normally a very defensive GL, but we are now moving him into the flex category because his counters are growing. They're simply growing, and he brings a lot of value on offense of taking out different squads. Great banner recovery, gives your team 100% health protection when he ultimates, and he's got a lot of swarming, and you can really manipulate his AI to your advantage. So Jabba, no matter what, will be annoying on defense, but has a use on offense as well. Have to include him. Mace Windu. You know how I feel about Mace. I think he's kind of trash, but when he has a Wordy Galactic Republic level 6 paired with a Depa Billaba level 9, he's actually pretty solid. He won me a ton of matchups last season in 3v3. I'm hoping he does the same for me in 5v5. Now, if you place him on defense, expect Sith to get through him, but sometimes that damage from the Galactic Republic team can get rid of some Sith characters, which means banner advantage for you because your opponent is dropping. So Master Mace is a flex character. He could be really good on offense for taking out teams like possibly Cassian without the FTC, but on defense, do not take him lightly. Same goes to the Pirates, Maz Kanata. Very solid, very strong, practically a speed check in the beginning of battle because Maz is very fast. She gains 30 speed, so if you have to deal with a very fast Maz Kanata, you need to be careful. She can beat Lord Vader with this lineup. She requires a strong team on defense if you pair it with this team. And all I have to say is Maz Kanata is very good. Eliminates all Sith on defense. Can take out Lord Vader. Requires a strong team to take it out on, the opposite. So Maz Kanata, always solid. Next up, Dark Trooper Moff Gideon. Viability has gone down because you no longer have the Moff Gideon level 9. But very good at countering teams with turn meter game. So maybe that Grievous team I listed in the beginning might be able to be shut down by DTMG. We're going to have to see because DTMG is pretty good at taking out Grievous. We're going to have to see how that ramping critical damage and that turn meter manipulation goes with that team. So on offense, pretty good. On defense, got to be a little bit careful. If you use a very good Darkseid Kron with high defense, maybe you could time out with Raditz. I've seen it before, but DTMG, always solid. Now, how can we not talk about one of my favorite teams in the game, Great Mothers? So important, so vital to our strategy. Can they take out Ahsoka Ezra? Absolutely. Are they a strong team on defense? Yes. I was debating on swapping out like Night Trooper or Death Trooper with Asajj level 9 with Great Mothers. That could be a potential annoyance. I didn't mention that on the defensive squad, but I want to just mention here, Great Mothers on defense with Asajj level 9 could be annoying. It really could. Especially if they put the Blessed on Spirit and then Asajj keeps taking turns. Spirit's going to keep assisting with Foresight and all that damage. That could be a potential cook. So, you know what? While we're here, let me just... You know what? I'm going to keep Death Trooper Peridia. But while we're here, because I don't want to forget this for later, let's keep you here and maybe throw in Asajj. And maybe you see this squad being kind of annoying. I just thought of that on the spot. So, this could be pretty tough on defense. On offense, we might have to stick to the other team, but it's going to be fun. Now, the regular variation of Queen Amidala that isn't utilizing Mace is going to be Gas and Echo. Can be used on offense and defense. I just wanted to include them in the flex because they really have a use everywhere. But I wanted to showcase a specific defensive squad that could be good against try to stop Bane. But Gas with Echo, very strong. You got the AoE days from both characters. Big damage from Gas in case your Padawan Obi-Wan goes down. He could practically get you out of a pinch in a sticky situation. So, love them on both offense and defense. Same thing goes to Gungans. Gungans are very solid. You know, they are annoying. Practically, if you don't bring the right counter, you're going to get screwed over. When I see Gungans, I'm thinking Treya. So Treya is going to be utilized a lot against Gungans, but if you have to use it against Mace, then you have to think of other options. So Gungans are very annoying, especially with a light side turn meter on a special. They could take a lot of turns. So Gungans, even though they don't have any specific Datacron exclusive to them, they're very solid on offense and defense. Have to include General Skywalker because he can get you out of a pinch, and he's annoying on defense with certain Datacron metas. We do have a Galactic Republic level 6, the wordy one that could really amplify Gas. So don't use the same cheap counters like earlier. But on offense, he can definitely do well for you. The problem is the banners. There's really bad banner recovery on a 501st team, but I have to include him because he's very solid. And the last filler team. This is going to be a filler team with like, hey, I don't want to, I don't know what to put down on defense. I have the Datacron. What do I do? It's going to be Trench. I don't think the Trench level 9 is going to be game-breaking or game-changing in Grand Arena. More of a TW kind of Datacron, but I will include it on the list because it's more of a filler team. I'm just letting you guys know. Not going to expect many Ultimate or anything crazy. I'd rather use Django with his Datacron. But if you want a filler squad, you don't have the Django Cron yet, you don't use that character that often, Trench is a filler team for defense and practically a GL cleanup for offense. So that is going to conclude this list, guys. I want to know what you think about it. What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? Let me know down below. And what team are you looking forward to the most? And also, don't forget that question in the beginning. Your favorite OG game of all time on those consoles. So thank you guys for tuning in. On your way out, don't forget to leave a like, comment down below, and more importantly, subscribing to the channel to become an Knight of Vex and supporting your boy Vex on his journey of making this a full-time ride. So thank you guys again. May the force be with you all, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.